Book friends and YouTube followers, part 4 of my series, Marijuana Related Subjects, a collection of observations made over the last 20 years of things that might be said detrimentally about the use of marijuana. But before I get into that, I had a friend that requested the words for a medieval nativity song that I did a while back, and I just didn't have the words that he wanted them, so I thought I'd just put it into this video and see how it works before I get into it here. We have Verbum caro factum est, the prophecy of the Godchild is fulfilled, and here's the last 3 verses, and I think that's long enough for him to look at it, and we will get into the material here. I think I've covered it up with the book. Okay. Here we go. Okay, part 4, marijuana-related subjects. I wanted to cover a little thing I've been getting off the radio. I've been listening to Black Information Network 850 AM, and they've been running a public service advertisement about the effects of marijuana for a couple of weeks now, and what they're saying is that marijuana use can cause changes in the linings of the veins and the arteries, and in a study they found out that people that use marijuana were more subject to having strokes and heart attacks, and they said there's no direct connection, but there's an implied connection, and what the THC does, it affects the linings of the arteries, probably causing an inflammation, and the inflammation causes the plaque or the cholesterol to build up, and that can lead to strokes and heart attacks if that stuff comes loose and moves around. It can also cause peripheral artery disease in the arms and the legs, and that's where the arms and the legs don't get enough blood coming in and out, and you get muscle wasting and spasms possibly, and hypoxia, which is not enough oxygen to the muscles, and you can get deep vein thrombosis, which means that there's a blood clot in the leg. It may break loose and go up to the heart and kill part of the heart muscle from not getting blood, and cause wasting and so forth. And there's other things like varicose veins would be something else they might have. Spider veins, number of things that go on when you don't have the right circulation to the feet and the legs and the hands and whatnot. Cold hands and cold feet, of course. So let's get right into the rest of it here. Scofflaw governors, the governors of states where they've legalized dope, are very protective of it. And anybody talks about getting rid of it, they'll come down and real hard on them and say, well, we voted for it, we know it's good, and they will tell you we're making a lot of money off of it too. In Washington, they collect 48% of every dollar that's spent on a state drugs marijuana store. So you got multiple drug addictions. People that start out on marijuana often go on to other things. They use it in combination with hard drugs and alcohol and whatnot, and have addicts in denial, people that use it every day. These are heavy users or addicted users, but since they were told before we voted on it that it's not addictive, they're in denial and say, well, it's not addictive, I'm not an addict, I just use it all the time. Peripheral artery disease, we talked about that from the veins and the arteries in the arms and the legs not getting enough blood in and out. Vehicular homicides. I know they told us when they wanted us to vote marijuana, and they said, oh, you drive better when you're high because you're more careful, but that would turn out to be a lie too. And so all these accidents are running up insurance. More people are getting killed. The number of people killed on the highways is doubling every 5.5 years in Washington. Suspended licenses if you're not driving well, you're not keeping up your equipment, you're running around with your headlights and taillights out, you're getting tickets and not paying them, so they suspend your license to make sure that you pay or they won't give it back to you. Disabled smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. I'm a landlord. I haven't got a place back yet. that had a marijuana arrow in it that had a working smoke or a carbon monoxide alarm, because the dope smoke and vapor sets them off, or they cook something on the stove and forget about it, and that sets them off. Tighter tenant screening everywhere. The landlords that were saying 420 friendly in the beginning, who thought it was great, they don't advertise that anymore. I require people to have 6 times the income over the rent, but my rents are not high, and I require a drug test. I don't take anybody, but I can pretty much look at them and tell them if they're a doper or not. Flaccid eye bags. You get that smoke in your eyes all the time, and it gets into your tears, and pretty soon the little muscles that tone your lower eyelids are not working so good. Your lower eyelids sag down. You see these red and white rings, and they're about to hang down over your cheek. Marijuana monotone voice, of course, when your vocal cords are anesthetized, you can't make all the notes you need for normal speech, so you speak in one note or monotone. Bloodshot eyes, first thing the cops look for when they pull you over, when they suspected you're driving high. They shine the flashlight in your eyes and look for that, and they see bloodshot eyes, then they go on and do further testing. Facial paralysis, the smoke in the mouth goes through the cheek and the mucous membranes and slowly anesthetizes the facial muscles over and over again, to the point that pretty soon you have a sagging face and you look a lot older than you really are. Pipe dreams, very common among dopers. You talk to them, they tell you what they're going to do, these big plans. You see them 10 years later, they got the same plans, they haven't done anything yet. Loss of balance, anything that affects your hearing and your hearing nerves in your ear and your semicircular canals can cause you to be off balance, walk crooked, fall sideways, whatnot. Mental confusion, that's why they smoke dope, because they like that feeling. That's what's called getting high, if you're mentally confused. Industrial accidents, of course, if you're high, you're uncoordinated, your reaction times are slower, so you'll have more slips, snips, and falls. People that work in the marijuana industry burden the state industrial very heavily with these industrial accidents that they get time off to recover from, because they're high all the time while they're working. Job drug screening, no employer wants people that are high, because if they get hurt on the job, it's going to cost them. It's going to cost this industrial insurance to go up. Loss of voice, about 1% of 1% of the people in Washington, instead of going marijuana monotone and just speaking in one note, they lose their voice completely and it doesn't come back. It's probably less than 50 people in the whole state of Washington, but there is people that lose their voice completely with marijuana use. Immobilized cilia or villi in the airway that catches the contagions and the contaminants and mixes them with the mucus from the mucus cells, the secretory cells in the airway, so you can cough them up and spit them out. It doesn't work. The villi or cilia are immobilized, and so the contagions and the disease, cold viruses and whatnot, and strep throat and whatever comes in there can sit around and make a disease and make you sick, instead of being first line of defense is gone. Laryngeal paralysis, we've got that. That's paralyzed vocal box, sounding like a duck when you talk, dry airways. Of course, the mucus cells are turned off by the dope. Immobilized mucus cells. THC toxic homes, that's true. Anytime I've gotten a rental back where they use dope, it settles on the walls and it builds up little by little semi-solid deposits year over year, and you have to wash it out. It won't go away by itself. If it took them 10 years to get it doped up, you'd have to let it sit with the windows open for 10 years for it to evaporate. It evaporates slowly. Hard drug transfers, of course. We don't believe the story anymore that the politicians told us when they wanted us to vote dope in. They said, nobody ever smoked marijuana ever went on to a harder drug. Well, we know that's not true, because most of the marijuana you buy on the street is boosted or jacked up with hard drugs. Children get contact highs from living in the house with marijuana-needed parents, I guess what you'd call them, drug addicts. Public assistance, of course, if you're spending all your money on dope, you're going to need some help with your other bills and things that you need to get by. So there's lots of government offices you can go knock on the door and get assistance, because the government likes to help people that buy their dope and are addicted. They're very very sympathetic with that. Collateral crime, you got the kids running around stealing cars and smashing them through the front of marijuana stores and stealing the dope because they're coming down and they got to get the dope and they don't have any money and they pretty much do whatever they have to do to get it. Of course, if you're paying, if marijuana use, if you got both parents using marijuana and they're heavy daily users, the money they spend monthly on marijuana would equal the rent on one of my places. So accordingly, if you buy dope and you don't pay the rent, you get evicted. So many people have been evicted who are on common dope, who otherwise wouldn't normally be evicted. Social ostracism, the people that you knew before you became a doper, they don't want to hang around with you anymore because all you want to do is just get them high too, and hang out with them and say, and do whatever dopers do when they get high together. Probably lie to each other a lot. More frequent colds from the first line of defense in the airway being immobilized. Math difficulties, your kids will have trouble going beyond 6th grade level in math achievement by the time they graduate from high school if they stay in that long. And hallucinogenic flashbacks from the last time you were exposed to dope. These flashbacks can last for up to a week where you have hallucinations, and even if you quit, you're going to have them for a while. But thank you for listening. Adios, amigos, off Wiedersehen in the fatherland. If you like this video, share it with people. If you know somebody that's on dope and you think it's ruining their life, share my videos with them. Thank you very much.